So far, in terms of binders, I've gone through my personal collection, 6 binders there. I have a few binders that I use for deck building, so I have a lot of virtual cards printed out and ready to go. Switching gears a bit, this is a collection of binders that I use for my store. So I sell mostly on eBay, but I'm also happy to go directly through email. This video is going to deal with the foil binders I have, so I don't put every single card I have in the binders or every single card that I have in stock. I have a bunch of boxes that I keep lesser demand cards in, but here's the Reflections 1 binder, so all the Reflections 1 cards that I have as individual single listings on eBay I put in here. And I still sell all the other Reflections 1 cards, but those are more in lots or by request. But just over time, over the years, these are the cards that I've found, hey, these ones are worth selling as singles, as the other ones are more better grouped as kind of bulk rares, even though they're foils, but treated like bulk rares. And the nice thing is it ends up with kind of a concentration of what the good cards are. But lots of Hans and Chewies and Leias and Landos and Lukes, of course. And these are all foils, so as I turn the pages, hopefully some of them look pretty cool. The Undercover Spy Han. One thing I noticed when taking photos of cards, it seems like the dark side character foils, sometimes it's hard to get them in focus. I'm not sure why that would be. Maybe somebody who knows more about how cameras work would be able to explain that. Starships and Vehicles, and now into the dark side cards. So a lot of bounty hunters, Imperial officers, Vader, Jabba the Hutt, of course. So if you're pretty familiar with Reflections 1, it's probably not too surprising that these cards are in here and that a lot of other cards I chose to leave out. Some people may have noticed, hey, where's the ultra rares? Well, I do sell the ultra rares, but those ones I keep in soft plastic sleeves inside hard plastic sleeves and kind of sell those one at a time rather than these ones, which I just keep in stock and I sell with stock photos. For ultra rares, I want to make sure people get photos of the exact card they're purchasing rather than stock photos, but all of these are in at least slightly played near mint condition. Most are near mint or better. So that's Reflections 1, a lot of cards you might expect when thinking about the Reflections 1 set. I also got a Reflections 2 binder. And you might have noticed for Reflections 1, all of those cards I had 3 to a row. I do have a box that has a lot of other Reflections 1 foils, the overflow from there, so it's nice to know, hey, when I have to start taking cards out of the binder, that means I should probably trade for those to get them back in stock, make sure my store doesn't go out of stock. But once you get into Reflections 2 and 3, there's a lot of cards missing from a row, or sometimes the row's missing entirely, which is why I'm always looking to trade. But starting out with the toppers, got Vader in there. So Reflections 2, quite a smaller chunk of characters. Also a smaller foil set, only 100 foils, but yeah, there's 7 characters worth mentioning, worth selling as singles, rather than Reflections 1 where it was, who knows how many, I forget, probably 25. I didn't really count when I was going through. Lots of good starships though. And Luke's saber. And for dark side, I'm pretty well stocked too, but yeah, I could use another Piet, could use another Vader with saber. Running low on Force Lightnings. I definitely like the dark side starships and Reflections too. A lot of those permanent pilot starships are pretty neat. That looks to be it for Reflections 2. So, yeah, that's one of the issues with Reflections 2 is that when you open a pack, it just seems there's a smaller percentage of foil cards. I mean, definitely a smaller number because it's 100 to 114. But just a smaller percentage of foil cards are noteworthy, worth selling as singles. Here's Reflections 3, plus I got a couple others in here too. A couple other sets, I should say. Definitely missing a lot of these, so that's Japanese Luke Skywalker. If you have any of those in good shape, I'd love to trade for them. Doing pretty well on Qui-Gons, though. And definitely a lot of more obscure characters in Reflections 3 are worth selling as singles just because it's such a hard to find set. Some pretty good interrupts. Harvest, Rebel Artillery, Rebel Leadership as well. And some neat starships too. That must be Darth Maul's there. I know on the back that was Newt Gunray. So, oh, that must be the Black Sun Prince Shizor, if I'm saying that right. I guess I never looked it up, how it was pronounced. The Phantom Menace. Nope, that's the Phantom Menace. I wonder what that is. Ominous Rumors, that's the one. Got plenty of Imperial commands, though, and that's a very cool looking foil. Let's see how it shimmers here, if I can get it to do so. And starships. Decent amount of starships for the dark side and a couple lightsabers. I also got my Endor foils in here. So almost 3 sets of those. And I think I sell all Endor foils as singles. Tournament foils too, going in alphabetical order. So usually I go light and dark, but these ones, for whatever reason in my spreadsheets, I put them all full in alphabetical order, so I did that way here too. Don't really have the Corellian Corvette or the 4 big tournament foils, the Maul and the Qui-Gon and the Corvette and the Star Destroyer. Don't really have those. So that's actually it for the foil binders. I also have a couple other binders that I keep cards in. So this one is secondary rares. So when I first started selling cards as singles, I put all the ones that I thought were obvious in a binder. And these ones, I found over time that these were worth selling as singles too. So this is a much smaller binder than the last one I'll show you. But lots of, rare 1 cards from the early sets that aren't main characters, but they're kind of hard to find. And the factory, or the corrected R3PO card. The uncorrected one that has the same picture as K3PO is pretty easy to find. This one is pretty tough. A lot of Cloud City and Dagobah cards that are useful. Jabba's Palace even. Special edition secondary cards. So yeah, originally I didn't sell the objectives as solo cards. You'll notice here there's no real main characters like Luke, Leia, and Han. It's just stuff that either was hard to find for collectors or very useful for players. So I must be running low on hunt downs, because that's the back of the card on the other side, raw tier operations. Decent amount of Endor still, except for those 2 guys, I suppose. A lot of good cards in Endor worth selling as singles that I didn't necessarily know about right when I started selling. And I could have mixed them into the binders, but I kind of already had the system going. Plus, it was nice in terms of trade priorities too to keep those separate. Good Death Star 2 stuff as well. Coruscant especially. Kind of funny this is in the secondary binder because now it's pushing $70. But it's just so useful for pulling the Jedi Council Chamber. And not everything in here is a rare either, so Sense and Naboo. And the Battle Red Blaster Rifle, these are uncommons as well. Or common and uncommon. That's a common, I think. But worth selling as singles. Reflections 2 interrupts, some of the more playable ones. And some miscellaneous premium cards. This was virtualized into a very helpful fighter for Defending Cloud City and the Quiet Mining Colony decks. That's why I started to sell him as a single. And then these are the reprints from Endor. So I got, well, it's kind of in a weird order, but Tempest Scout 3, Tempest 1, and Solo and Chewie. So I do have one more binder for my store. That's the main characters and other cards. I'll go get that one real quick. Not baseball cards in here. Although I do like the art on the binder there. So these are the ones that if you were thinking of cards that were selling as singles, almost everybody who's a little bit into Star Wars would say, oh yeah, that makes sense. So the dozen top cards from Premiere and A New Hope. Lots of Hoth cards. This must be running low on tramples. Plenty of good stuff in Dagobah. And a few nice things in Cloud City, but not that much. Cloud City and Jabba's Palace are not the most sought after sets. So I'm pretty well stocked on the Premiere to Special Edition stuff. A few holes here and there. And yeah, just like the other binders, I have lots of cards in a box. The overflow for this. So this is a pretty cool page. I just always liked the ATSTs. Always trying to get them into a deck together. Defiance is definitely the most... whoa, I didn't realize I was off the window here. Sorry about that. We could see most everything though. Got 3 Lord Vaders, maybe one more in a sleeve in the box. Lots of cool starships in Death Star too. Very neat stuff. With Tatooine, I did the AIs intermixed with the regular image cards. Must be low on malls. Coruscant and Theed, I have the AIs separate. I keep those each in their own top loader. So as you can see, Coruscant's a bit thinner than the previous sets. I got Theed 2. Lots of reflection stuff. Liba was one of those, Liba was one of those borderline cards that I wasn't sure if I was going to sell as a single, but he does all right. Thrawn's always a big one. And the Reflections 3 main character premiums, these are big money cards. But I'm pretty well stocked on them, which is good. Boba Fett, one of the more valuable cards in the game right now. That is in an ultra rare. And anthology premiums. Whoops, I skipped a page. Enhanced Jabba's Palace. Well, we're down to 1 Palace rare. That's pretty wild. I remember having 15 of those. So the enhanced sets, lots of really good cards. Master Luke especially in the you can either profit by this or be destroyed deck. Mara, probably the premium card in terms of what people most often want. And then I have white border at the end, so pretty much the same stuff that you would have seen in the black border, just in their unlimited versions for Premiere, and then the revised, which are actually rarer, for A New Hope through Dagobah. Must be totally out of, what is that, Corellia? Yeah, Corellia. And they got 2 of most every Hoth white border. Must be down to 1 Yoda. So yeah, people have really lately been getting into the white border set, so I'm a little bit behind on being stocked on those, but for the most part, I got pretty much 1 of every card. So that's it for my store binders. Just kind of an idea of where I put priorities on things and what cards we're selling as singles, what cards are better off kept in boxes for specific requests. But hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe found a couple cards that you didn't think were valuable, and maybe you have a couple in your collection. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.